Welcome to the instructional video named ga01Format. In this video we'll create a valid XHTML 1.0 strict document named ga01Format. We will demonstrate a JavaScript function that uses the DOM getElementById method. Those of you that haven't used this method of the DOM before, I think will find it fairly exciting. You can actually change attributes of elements that are already on your page dynamically. We will demonstrate the CSS with an inline style, an external style sheet, and an internal style sheet. We will also demonstrate CSS usage of IDs and classes. The first thing we'll do is open up an editor. I use TextPad. If you use Crimson Editor on the FCC campus, that certainly works as well. And what we need to do to start out coding an HTML document is create the HTML element. However, this document that we're creating is not an HTML document, but it is, of course, an XHTML. I would highly recommend starting out with a template that we have under external links. Go to week 2's folder and open up the XHTML 1.0 strict template. Here we can copy and paste headers that will keep us out of trouble. Start our XHTML document. I will generally clean this up a little bit to put the double quotes of the w3.org qualifier under the first one. When you view source on your pages, you may see the pages that look like this. There does have to be a distinction between this first literal string and the second, but just to make ours a little bit more readable, this is the way I do it. Okay, so we have our doc type declaration and our XHTML with the XML NS, that's for the namespace attribute. I'll go ahead and close that now, HTML. And now I'm ready to start coding up my document. The first thing that I want to do is to give my document some comments. I'll tell myself, that's who comments are for, they're for you and other programmers, the name of this document, and it's always a good idea to list your name and the date. I know that you know who you are, but your peers that are evaluating your content may not. Okay, so the comments in HTML are less than sign, the exclamation called a bang, and dash dash, and then dash dash and greater than sign. And you can see that they're paired that way. I use what's called a two-step indentation in all our code, and for our HTML documents, XHTML documents, I do that as well. So I press 2 spaces. My first element is going to be the head for the heading, and what I'll do is add a title, formatting page, and close that element. Finish off my heading. Go to the body of my document, and appropriately enough add a paragraph element and call this Hello World. And close the body. And save this as what I've asked you to save it as, ga01format.html. ga01format.html. Depending on your editor that you're using, you may need to enclose the title of your document in double quotes. I'll save that where I know that I can find it. And right now this would be a good time to actually look at your document to make sure that it is displaying in your browser as it should. I can simply open up Windows Explorer, navigate to where I saved my page, and double click on it. By default, Windows will display this using Internet Explorer. So that seems to work okay. It's not very exciting, yet it does exactly what I told it to do. Yep, we'll close that. The next thing I want to do is to validate this to see, in fact, if it is an XHTML document. As you know, a XHTML document is well formed if it makes sense semantically, which means that the elements have a beginning and an end, and not that they're indented, but the indenting here lets me know that my beginning elements have an end element tag. This is actually one element here, the head element. The beginning tag is very similar to the end tag, and they have to be in the right places. I couldn't have, for example, body here inside this head. That wouldn't make sense syntactically. So this document looks pretty well formed. Now, is it valid? You know from reading chapter 1 and from viewing the online instructional video on chapter 1 that valid means that it conforms to the DTD. Remember, DTD means document type definition. Here I am specifying that this code will conform to this DTD XHTML 1.0, and specifically this DTD here, XHTML 1-strict.dtd. This is not a URL, it's just a specification for the DTD. Okay, the purpose of conforming to a DTD to make something valid, your web page will still be displayed, but it is better if it's valid, of course, because then it can be used as by particular HTML parsers. So let's go ahead and make sure that our work is valid. It sounds pretty dramatic. It's not. Let's go to external links again and go to the W3C validator. For week 2, of course. I like to right click and open these in a new window. That way I can close the window when I'm done with it. For now, I'll just use the update by file upload because I don't have this on a server yet. Click on Browse, navigate to your document, ga01 format, and click Open and click Check. Tentatively passed. I only have 2 warnings. That's not too bad. No character encoding. Okay, we can take care of that. I would prefer your documents to have not only 0 errors but 0 warnings. So let's go ahead and take care of this warning here. It says no character encoding. We can take care of that with this guy. I'll put my meta tag right under my first head tag. It could go anywhere in the head tag, but I like to put it under the head tag. This way I'm used to seeing it here. I always know that it's here or not. You can see here, sure enough, we have specified our encoding. This is a good example to talk about what's called a singleton element. Meta tag does not require a closing meta tag like body does. You can see here, here's start of body, here's the end of body. Here's the start of meta, but we don't have a / meta to end it. So to conform, to make this a conforming XHTML document, I need to have the / right before the trailing angle bracket like this. See, normally it would be this way, so I just have a / there. Let's go ahead and save that and run the validation again. Back to where I was, click on Browse again. It is smart enough to know that we are trying to validate something before, and it'll give us a revalidate button. Click on the revalidate, and voila, we've passed. For our hard work, we now get to display this icon. I'll choose the blue one, copy and paste, select everything, Control C to copy. Let's go back to our page and I'll put this in. Of course, we should probably do this when we're done, right? Otherwise, there's no guarantee that we still have a ways to go. I'll clean this up. You can see it takes a little while, but believe me, this is going to be a lot easier to read when I look at this tomorrow or the next day. Let's see, I put, here's my anchor attribute, or my anchor tag with the href, beginning of my anchor tag, and here's the end of my anchor tag. This is indented, that two-step indentation. I use two-step indentation because you can see with these long elements, I run out of space quickly. Sometimes browsers you'll see, 10-step indentation. I think it's a little silly. 4-step indentation at the most. If I had to write a style guide for a class, I would specify 2-step indentation. This is becoming a long demo. I will go ahead and stop this now. We'll make this into increments. This will be part 1. But you can see what we've done here. We've actually created a valid XHTML document. Valid means not only is it well formed, that the tags have beginning and end tags, or the elements have beginning and end tags properly, but to be valid means that this conforms to this particular document type definition that's specified right here. And we validated that with the W3C validator. Now we should probably look at this to see our little tag. So that we're not cheating too badly, let's go ahead and validate this again. Run our validation. Open. Oh, we got one error. Let's see what that error is. P is not allowed here on line 15. You know what the P is? It's where we just inserted our passing validation label. Let's go back. Interesting. Look what I did inadvertently. I moved this P outside the body, so of course P is not allowed there. Let's move body back down here. Put the tag right at the end of my document. I didn't mean to do that. So there we go. Body begins here. Another reason why. Taking time to align things, it seems tedious, and it is, but it will certainly help us in the long run. Make sure everything is aligned. This body with that body, there, that looks a lot better. Let me delete this line. Alright, let's save that and run the validation again. And revalidate. There we go, passed. And let's look at our page. Very anticlimactic, but here's our validation tag. This will end part 1 to GA01 format, and we'll pick this up in part 2.